All right, guys, PSA, cheap roofs and why do people get them? I don't know. For most of us, the largest investment we're gonna purchase in our life is our house. And let's face it costs a lot of money today. The number one protector of the most expensive thing we buy is a roof. It protects us from the weather, storms, the snow. It protects your new floors, your bathroom, your kitchen, your kids, you. So my question is, why do people pick the cheapest option? Today, I just got back from an inspection. This gentleman, nice guy down the road, had the house a couple years. Got a new roof put on, I think he said 6 weeks ago, within the last 2 months or so. Called me out because he was having issues. The guy who put the roof on wasn't responding as much as the guy would like. So, turns out, little ranch house, flat roof out back. They tore off the roof. The flat roof, they left the shingles on. So they put new shingles on top of old shingles. For one, the flat roof was too flat for shingles. It was, the recommendation I think is a 2-pitch or above. For shingles, this was well under a 2. It was like a 1-pitch. So pretty flat, next to flat roof. The roofer did come back, tore both roofs off, and put new shingles on again. Now he says he's gonna come back in a couple months and tear that off and put rubber on, but we'll see if that happens. But anyway, this guy, I'd imagine, probably got the cheapest bid. A lot of things there. We'll show some pictures here, there, and everywhere. Crooked nails, torn shingles, bad flashing, bad pipe collars. They put a ridge vent on, but they didn't cut out the plywood underneath, so it's not venting at all. Where they did put new plywood on, they didn't nail it correctly. You can see in the picture, a bunch of nails don't hit the rafter. You know, this guy thought he was getting a deal. He probably did get a deal, but now he has to deal with it later. So he called me. I'm gonna write up a report for him. He's gonna hopefully try and go back to the roofer and get him to address these things, which, let's be honest here, I don't know where it's gonna go. Now, if that guy, we didn't bid on the job to begin with, but if that guy would have called us, we probably would have had a higher bid. I'm sure we would have had a higher bid, but there would have been some things that we did a lot differently than the guy he got. So what makes a cheaper roof? Maybe your house is older and it's on boards, which a lot of old houses are on boards. Before plywood was around, before OSB was around, it's on boards. Now, if your boards are gapped, which a lot of these old homes are, there might be a 1/2 inch to 1 inch gap in there, off the bat, that voids the shingle warranty, right? So we would come in and quote it, or another guy might come in and quote it and say, we're gonna skin it over with OSB to give us a nice smooth deck. So we have proper nail placement, proper nailing, no gaps. Another reason might be cheaper. Maybe it's not ventilated at all. So if your house isn't properly ventilated, soffit vent, ridge vent, or shingle vent, edge vent, ridge vent, if you look at the details in the manufacturer's warranty, off the bat, if you have an issue with the shingle down the road, it's not ventilated properly, voids your warranty. Maybe they just use cheap materials. Maybe they bought the materials at a yard sale or a mud sale or something. The shingle's been sitting around for years and years and years. I'm not telling you to go to spend the most amount of money on the roof, but I am pretty much telling you just don't spend the cheapest, because when you do something cheap, you're excited up front. You're like, now I can go on vacation this year. I didn't have to spend X amount on my roof. But a year or two, and this was only 6 weeks later, 6 weeks later, 6 months later, 6 years later, and these things start to appear, and you're like, man, probably shouldn't went with that cheap guy. Probably should have spent a little bit more money. Maybe talk to the guy a little bit more, see what he's gonna do for me from the get-go. Maybe I spend a little bit more up front. Maybe you don't spend any money long term. If you go cheap up front, problem after problem after problem after problem. Then you call a roofer, come out to look at it, we got problems. So a wise man once said, his name's John Ruskin, 1819 to 1900. So that's a long time to live. You learn a lot. And I quote, "It's unwise to pay too much, but it's also unwise to pay too little. When you pay too much, you lose a little money. That is all. When you pay too little, you sometimes lose everything." because the thing you bought was incapable of doing the thing you bought it to do. A common law of business balance prohibits paying a little and getting a lot. It can't be done. If you deal with the lowest bidder, it is well to add something for the risk you run. And if you do that, you will have enough to pay for something better. Wow, magical stuff here, guys. So bottom line, again, don't always go with the cheapest, don't always go with the most expensive, but the thing you should get out of this is you should know what you're getting from the contractor you use. That's all. Play the music.
Oh no, don't let the rain come down. Oh no, don't let the rain come down. Oh no, don't let the rain come down. My roof's got a hole in it and I might drown.
Does that look fat?
No.
But the biggest protector is the roof. The roof is on fire. So, having a tough time
You
here.
want to just take it from the top again?
Let's take it.